ASMR Retro Forever. Hey guys, welcome back to ASMR Retro. In this video, I'm gonna watch and comment on the Simpsons episode, Season 1, Episode 3, called Homer's Odyssey. And I will do a countdown so you can watch along if you want to. But before we do that, it is directed by Wes Archer, written by J. Kogen and Wallace, Wolodarsky, hope I'm saying that right, and its original air date was January 21st, 1990, and the description on Disney Plus is, after being fired from the nuclear power plant for negligence, Homer becomes a safety activist. Alright, so I'm going to press play. I'll count down. 3, 2, 1, play. Alright, and there we get the classic Simpsons intro. And I believe this is the first episode that introduces Mr. Burns and Smithers. And here we get the chalkboard gag. I will not skateboard in the halls. And yeah, I think it also introduces the fact that Homer works at a power plant. I'm not sure if they mentioned that before, although you get a glimpse of it in the intro, I guess, so there's that. But anyway, yeah, so here we go, the intro that we've all seen a million times. There's Lisa with the jazzy solo, and I'll have more to say about Mr. Burns and Smithers later in this episode. Some interesting tidbits, I guess. There's Bart, and here we go, and now we see this random people we've never seen before. And there's Maggie and Marge driving in the car. Beep, beep, beep. And Lisa on her bike. And Marge almost murders Homer. Was it? Oh no, it's Lisa. No, it's Marge. Okay, yeah, sorry. And then the couch gag is the couch breaks and they fall on the floor. So, alright. There we go. And so we're starting off at school. And the kids are outside hammering. And so they're going on a field trip. And the teacher's like, I don't want this to be the same as our a trip to the Springfield State Prison. And Bart's like, Mrs. Krabappel, I didn't unlock that door. So that's pretty funny. So Otto shows up late, of course. And they're loading the bus. And Otto shows, oh cool, yeah, Otto shows Bart his new tattoo, which is pretty cool. But Bart has to wait till he's 14 to get one. And then, okay, now they're taking their seat, and the only seat left is next to Wendell. That's the kid who always throws up. But Bart has to sit next to him. So he has to sit next to him, and everyone's laughing at him. And he sits on the seat, and he's like, Wendell's like, please don't shake the seat like that, because he's about to, blow chunks. And then Krabappel's like, don't put your arm out the window, because it could get ripped off. And then Bart pretends to be him, and then he gets in trouble. And then here we go. Wendell's already getting sick. So now they're driving by the Springfield toxic waste dump, and they wave at the workers, and now the Springfield tire yard. See, I like the scene because I mentioned it before, but these older episodes kind of felt like you're watching a movie. Like, you know, when a movie starts, and you get that sense of adventure, a sense of okay, this is going to be a big adventure kind of thing. I kind of get that from this scene, with the music and everything, and it's almost like when you're starting, you go on a roller coaster, so when you get in, they lock you in, and then it starts going. You get that rush of excitement, like, oh, it's gonna be good. That's kind of what I get from this intro. But now, Miss Krabappel says that if he says anything else, if Bart says anything else, he's gonna have to sing a song. And he's like, can I song. And she's like, no, the song will be, and I miss what she said, but so now Sherry and Terry, in order to get Bart to sing, they kiss him, and he yells, so he gets in trouble now, he has to sing. So we cut to him, Bart singing, and he seems to be enjoying it at this part. But now we are getting to the power plant, and now Grubble can't get him to stop. So now right there, and Bart's like, hey Wendell, you made it, and taps him on the back, and he ends up losing his lunch, or maybe his breakfast, I don't know. So now we're introduced to Smithers, and he's giving a introduction or whatever to all the students, and you'll notice that Smithers looks different. He is dark-skinned, and he has blue hair, whereas usually he's light-skinned or yellow-skinned or whatever, and has blue hair. And I looked it up, and apparently that was supposedly a mistake. He was always supposed to be white, aka, that Simpsons have yellow skin, but it's supposed to represent white, but he's supposed to be a white guy. And it was just a mistake by the guy who colored it or something like that. But I noticed something interesting that it's a theory I have, but I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed this. I looked online, I didn't see anything about it, but I didn't look that hard. But I believe Mr. Burns and Smithers are based off characters from RoboCop. Have you seen RoboCop? They have that OCP corporation or something like that, the big corporation. And the boss is like this old white guy. And then his assistant is a black guy with glasses. And I feel that Mr. Burns and Smithers are based off of them because not only do they look the same, they have the same like personalities and stuff like that. So I don't know, just a theory. I'll show a picture of those guys if I can remember from RoboCop, and you can make up your own mind. But anyway, this is the only episode where Smithers was represented as a black man, and then just changed on the next episode to a white guy. So it was an interesting tidbit there. So here we go, now they're going into the bowels of the power plant. Smithers is showing them around, and we also get introduced to Blinky, the three-eyed fish. Well, they don't call him Blinky, but so now the twins, Sherry or Terry, I don't know which one, well, both of them, their dad works there too, and they're saying how their dad says that Homer is incompetent. So now we see Homer sitting in this little golf scooter thingy, golf cart, eating donuts and drinking coffee. And his coworker is like, do you really want to see your kids seeing you sitting around? And he's like, oh yeah, that's a good point, I gotta get where the action is. So he starts driving the little cart, and now Bart sees him and starts saying, hey dad, over here, whatever. And Homer sees him, starts waving, but he crashes into this tube, and this like deadly gas starts pouring out, and these alarms start going off and all that stuff. So someone's able to stop the gas, and then the supervisor guy's like, who's responsible for this? And then he fires Homer, and then it turns out that that supervisor is Sherry and Terry's dad. And he's like, oh hi girls, and they're like, hi daddy, and Bart's like, oh, he's groaning. So not Matt groaning, but groaning. So now they're at the breakfast table, and Homer's all depressed. He's wearing his suit, and Lisa's looking in the paper, and she's like, here's a job at the fireworks factory. And he's like, oh, those perfectionists, forget it, I'll never, whatever, I'm not good enough for that. And what else? Oh, I missed it, but I think she was like, oh, here's a job for a technical supervisor. And he's like, I'm no technical supervisor, I'm a supervisor technician or whatever. It might have been the other way around, I don't know. Okay, so then, let's see. So now we see like a montage of different job places closing the door in his face. And then finally Bart closes the door in his face, and he's like, then he opens the door, he's like, don't give up dad, and he slams the door again. So this might actually be the first time they showed Mo. I can't remember, I don't think they showed him in the last episode. And Mo's bar. And we gets a first telephone gig, so he calls him and he's like, "Can I speak to IP freely?" And of course, Mo gets upset when he realizes it was a gig, and he yells at him, calls him a lousy bum, blah blah blah. And you can see Mo's bar looks quite different. Definitely the color scheme is different. That's for sure. Alright. And then Homer's gonna get another beer, but he's out of money. And he has to be, for Mo to spot him just once. And he wants an explanation why Mo's not gonna give him another beer, and he's like, "I don't think you're ever gonna get another job to pay me back." And he's like, "Oh." So Homer leaves, he's depressed, and he's in bed now with Marge, and he's mumbling, can't sleep, and Marge says that, I think she's saying, let's see, hold on, she wants to see if she can get her old job back, to bring in some extra money. And then it shows her at her old job. She's, I guess, one of those roller skate waitresses or whatever. And Otto calls her mama. She doesn't like that. So now Homer is depressed. He's laying on the couch. He looks staring up at the ceiling. And he seems to be in a comatose state because he's unemployed. And then Maggie pokes him in the eye. See from his point of view. So now Bart wants to take advantage of the old guy, and he gets Homer to sign his report card. So now it fades to nighttime, and he's watching a program of tips on how to win the lottery. And now we get a Tough Beer commercial, and we see Tough Beer in front of a waterfall. Can't get enough of that wonderful stuff, Tough Beer. And Homer's like, "Beer, now there's a temporary solution." So he goes to the fridge, and he starts looking for beer. He opens the box, and it says, "Don't worry, Daddy, we love you anyway." And he's like, "Damn," and he throws a cake on the floor. "I need money." So he goes into Bart's room, and he's sleeping, and then he's like, he thinks I need money. So he grabs his piggy bank and sneaks out of the room, and he's about to smash it with the hammer. Oh, he does smash it. He's like, "Oh no, what have I done? I smashed open my little boy's piggy bank, and for what? A few measly cents." Like, it's not even enough for one beer. He's like, "Wait a minute, let me make sure." Not even close. So he starts writing a note, and he's explaining how he's an utter failure, and how they'd be better off without him. And he says by the time they read this, he'll be in his watery grave. So I guess he's probably, obviously gonna take his life, which is pretty harsh for a cartoon like this. But and he's like, "Oh, let me give you some words my father gave to me." He's like, "Never give up," that kind of thing. So that's obviously Homer didn't take his dad's advice. So now he ties a rock to himself with a rope, and he's leaving the backyard. I love this part. He opens the gate, and it makes a squeaking noise. So he grabs an oil can and oils it, and then he leaves. So that's a nice little touch. He still has those fatherly instincts to fix the squeaky door before he leaves. So now he's walking down the street with the boulder, struggling to carry it, and he's like, "Nothing's easy." That's kind of depressing, but don't worry, it ends up well. So he's walking down the street, and the old couple, let's see, they're like, "Oh, Homer Simpson's gonna kill himself," and then the old guy's like, "Maybe not, maybe he's just taking his boulder for a walk," and they start laughing. So the kids wake up, and everyone notices that Homer's gone, and they find the note. So now we cut back to Homer. He's walking with the barrel of the boulder, and while he's walking to this bridge, and he crosses the street, and some car almost runs him over. He's like, "Hey, watch where you're going." notices, he gets there and he notices that there was already a boulder there. Which is funny. He's like, well, what they say, you live, you learn, something like that. So then the family shows up and they're like, don't do it, Dad. And while they're crossing the street, a car almost runs them over. And I was like, boy, this intersection is dangerous. It's like someone should put a stop sign there. And then all of a sudden he gets like an epiphany and you see like bright light shining on him. And Marge's like, don't do it, we love you, Dad. And he's like, kill myself. That's the last thing I'd ever do. Now I have a purpose, a reason to live. And the sun starts coming up. He's like, I don't care who I have to face or fight. I will not rest until this street gets a stop sign. A nice inspirational moment there. So now he's at City Hall and he's going to make the case to put a stop sign there. But before that happens, Chief Wiggum is going to give an update on Alberto, the graffiti vandal. And they have a sketch of the culprit. And they're passing it out. And that first guy looks like Bart on the left there, but anyway. And Alberto looks a lot like Bart, but with a cigarette. That's a coincidence, I guess. But so now it's Homer's turn to present his case for the stop sign, and he starts doing this like big speech. And it's like a stack of papers as if he has like all this information and data and stuff like that. It's like danger comes in many, many forms, from the dinosaurs that tormented our caveman ancestors to the, and they're like, Simpson, get to the point. He's like, I think we should put a stop sign at whatever. And they're like, in favor, aye. And yeah, that was it. That was a quick process, I guess. And I was like, wow, they listened to me. And the family's proud, and he's like, if they think I'm gonna stop at that stop sign, they're sadly mistaken, which is a funny play of words. It doesn't mean that he's not gonna stop there, but it means that he's gonna keep promoting safety. And it's also a montage of him putting all these, getting all these signs put up. So now, like, the entire place is covered with different signs like "Stay off the grass," "Danger," blah blah blah. But now he looks sad. The family's proud of him, and he's like, proud of what? And they're proud of his dip sign, for instance. And Homer still is like, this is small potatoes. There's one danger in this town that is bigger than all the dips put together. And he's like, I'm talking about that. And he points to the power plant. And he's like, you want to take on your old bosses? And they call him a hero. Bart's like, what a hero? My dad's a hero. And he's like, what'd you say, son? And he's like, nothing. And Homer's like, that's okay, son. I'll pretend to hear what I thought you said, or something like that. And now they cut to this protest outside the plant. And the guy, Homer and this other guy with a megaphone around the car. The other guy looks and sounds a lot like Flanders, but again with dark skin, and blue hair. But so now he introduces Homer Simpson, and Homer's like, thank you. So he starts giving this speech. He's like, unlike most of you, I am not a nut. So that's always a good way to start a protest speech. But let's see. Now we're introduced to Mr. Burns, who's looking out the window, and he's not too happy about this protest. It's like, I've never seen anything like this. Who is he? And it's like, that's Homer Simpson, sir. He used to work here at the plant. So it's the first time Mr. Burns is like, who is that man? I wonder if you'll ever remember what Homer's name is. I'm sure you'll never forget it. So now he wants Homer to be summoned into his office. And he's like, many of the people who work there are incompetent boobs. He's like, I know because I worked alongside them. Gone bowling with them. Watched them pass me over for promotions time and time again. And I say, this stinks. And then, yes, Smithers says that, tells Homer that Mr. Burns wants to talk to him, so he goes out to talk to Mr. Burns in his office. It's the first time we see his office. Very different color scheme. And then Burns wants him to rejoin the power plant, and Homer says no. And the plant. And he's like, safety, I cause more accidents around here than any other employee. And even if you did, no one ever found out about. It's pretty funny. And Homer has 30 seconds to decide. There's a funny picture in the background of Mr. Burns on a green horse or something. But anyway, so Homer's considering in his head, and he can't. He's struggling to decide. He's like, this guy's got the cleanest desk I've ever seen. Desk, not dust. And he's like, what the hell, I'll take the job. And Burns is like, your first duty is to go out on the balcony and tell the crowd that this plant is safe. He's like, what? Cool, and Homer looks at out at the crowd, and they're cheering for him. And he's like, ladies and gentlemen, this plant is. And everyone's watching with wide eyes. He's like, oh, sit tight, I'll be right back. And he goes back to Mr. Burns. And he's like, I can't do it, Mr. Burns. You mean you're willing to give up a good job and a raise just for her principles? And he's like, well, when you put it that way, that it does sound a little far-fetched. And he's like, but that's the look you're looking at. And he says he still wants a crusade for safety. And he said, I'd be able to do less crusading if I got the job, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that makes too much sense. But anyways, yeah, he basically got the job, and Homer agrees, and he has to say goodbye to some friends. So he's giving his goodbye speech. And, yeah, it's like, because of me, you'll blow yourselves up and stub your toes and stuff like that. It's like, you have to learn there's a little Homer Simpson in all of us, and I'm going to have to live without your respect and awe. And he's shedding a tear, and he thinks he's going to be leaving them, and everyone's shocked. It's like, don't worry, I've just been appointed the new safety inspector at this very plant. And everyone's cheering. He's like, with a big fat raise. And he starts doing his little Homer dance. And then ends up falling off the building and landing into the crowd of people. And they carry him away. And that margin looks so weird in that ending shot there, I always thought. But anyways. So yeah, that was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed that one a lot. Good storyline. It was a bit heavy, like, the whole thing about, Homer, doing the, taking his own life and whatnot, but obviously he didn't go through with it, but an uplifting turn of events, and yeah, we were introduced to Burns and Smithers, and it was the first of many times that Homer gets fired and then rehired at the plant. Yeah, it was a fun, enjoyable episode, and if I had to rate it, I guess I'd give it a 4 out of